Now, over the last couple of years, I would say over the last 5 to 10 years or so, give or take, there has been this trend where you would hear people say that, they are cutting the cord, they have cut the cord. And for the most part, this would refer to, them getting rid of their cable provider, so to speak. You would have that cable that comes straight into the house, and you would have subscribed to a cable TV provider, and that cable would come straight to a box, and that box would be connected to your TV. Now, because of the trend of streaming, and I'm referring to video streaming, which has gotten so prevalent over the last many years, a lot of people have cut the cord in that aspect, right? So a lot of people are not subscribing to a provider, a cable provider, that much more, so to speak. But the trend, I would say, in some ways have transitioned to the audio and the way we listen to audio. Now with audio, it's a little bit different. It's not cutting the cord per se, but it's more about, getting rid of physical media, right? When I talk about physical media, I'm talking about like tape, I'm talking about CDs, and I'm talking about vinyl. The more common, physical media that I think most people would be aware of, especially the younger generation today. As we, go back a little bit further, maybe into the, into the 80s and beyond, and you'll have those big reel-to-reel tapes and all of that. Yeah, but for the most part, people have been moving away from physical media as it relates to audio and video, and are kind of transitioning towards streaming. All right? Yeah, that is where the trend seems to be these days. And so my question for you today, have you cut the cord, in that perspective, from that perspective? Have you cut the cord? Are you no longer subscribed to a video, a cable provider? How are you listening to your music? Are you no longer spinning disc? Are you no longer, taking out a vinyl, cleaning it off and dropping it on your turntable? Are you no longer, for the longest while, people have stopped, putting in, playing a cassette and a cassette deck and all of that. That was a format that was kind of coming back, but I'm not sure how much. But what are you doing these days? So let's talk about streaming, so to speak. Let's talk about streaming, because that seems to be where the action is these days. This is where the trend is going. And for the most part, I'm going to be talking about audio streaming, because I think in terms of video, most people have already cut the cord from that aspect. There's still a cord that comes into your house, because obviously for you to stream, you need high-speed internet, which is connected to a modem, right? So in some ways, there is still a cord coming into your house, right? But in terms of a cable provider, we would have that, coaxial cable coming into your house, which is connected to a cable box. Many people have cut the cord on that completely, right? So, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'm going to be dwelling on the topic of audio streaming. All right. So I'm still the kind of guy who I still spin a couple of CDs here and there. I once had a big, not big by some people's standard. I may have had maybe about 150 to 200 CDs. And at one point, I ripped them all to a hard drive, and they're still on a hard drive here in my home. And I sold most of the physical discs. But what I did, I kept back a couple of the ones that are dear to me. Those discs that that I really love, and since then, and this was about maybe around 10, more than 10 years ago that I ripped all my CDs. Since then, I have purchased a couple of discs. So I still spin a few discs here and there. My younger son also purchased me, he bought me a turntable. So I have a little turntable, nothing high end, and a couple of maybe one or two records. I think I have just one record actually. My son, he has a couple, and so I would spin a vinyl here and there, right? I still have a cassette deck. I think it's a Denon cassette deck, which I have used for many years, and I'm not sure if many of the younger kids even know what a cassette deck looks like. Yeah, but yeah. So I still spin a few CDs here and there. But, recently I have found myself streaming somewhat. I'll be in my car, I'm driving home from work sometimes. And if I'm not listening to an FM radio station, I would be streaming something from, say, Spotify. I mean, there are other streaming apps, Tidal and all of them, but I would be streaming something, right? And, so that is where the trend, seem to be these days. Most people are not storing physical media anymore. They're not purchasing physical media. I mean, there are people they're diehard audiophiles, if I may use that word, who are still purchasing physical media, but many have transitioned to streaming. And why is that? Why is it that so many people have moved on to streaming? And I guess there are a couple of reasons. And some of the reasons that readily come to mind is let me see. One of the reasons, I think is the most what should I say, prevalent or dominant reason, if I may say that, is the ease of access. Sorry, instant access. For example, you fire up your streaming app. You can type in any artist. You can search up an album or a song, and the music is right there. You don't have to put anything into a player. You don't have to turn on a piece of equipment. Right on your smartphone or your tablet, you fire up your streaming app, instant access to the music, right? Another reason I think why streaming has become so popular is just because of the convenience factor again. People are on the go these days. People are moving here and there, and so you don't have to be tied to a specific location to listen to your music, right? You don't have to be at in one spot to hear your music. You have your phone or your tablet or whatever you have, and you have a Bluetooth headset or a wired headset, and you're on the go. Fire up your streaming app, and you're on the go. You can listen to your music anywhere, walking, jogging, you're in the gym, wherever you are, you can be listening to your music. Another reason is just the fact that, and this kind of piggyback on reason number one, is the fact that you can listen to any artist anywhere. As long as you have internet, you can listen to any artist that you like anywhere. As long as you have a streaming app on your phone, as long as you're subscribed to to a streaming service, or you're listening for free, you can listen to any artist anywhere as long as they're on that streaming platform. That's another convenience. Here goes another one. I think streaming kind of took off because of the prevalence now of high speed internet. Everyone seemed to have high speed internet in their homes, which makes it so convenient. But not only that, for the most part, I may be wrong. I can't say everyone, but most people have 5G wireless connection on their smartphone these days, 5G internet. And that makes it so much easier, to listen to music on the go. Just the fact that you have high speed internet, the prevalence of high speed internet, this has allowed people to do so much more. Not only stream video, but audio anywhere. Right? One of the other benefits of streaming is just the fact that you can create playlist of your favorite artist, play a playlist of certain genre of music. But just the fact that you can create your playlist and you can have that you can reproduce that playlist. You can listen to that playlist anywhere. I think that has also kind of spiraled the or should I say that has caused streaming to kind of taken off in this kind of trajectory that it has become. Yeah. And another big one is the fact that the quality of the sound coming from these streaming platforms have dramatically improved, compared to when many of these streaming platforms just came on the scene. Many of them can now stream uncompressed music. The sound quality that you're getting from a lot of these streaming platforms are rivaling your super audio CD. They're rivaling your vinyl. So people don't feel like they're missing out when they're streaming music these days. They're not, to be honest with you. People don't feel like they're missing out. And so these are some of the reasons why streaming has kind of taken off so much. But what's your take on streaming? That's my question today. Because for me, while streaming is there, and while it has all these conveniences, while there are all these benefits and all of that, but what about the fact that your internet can go down? What about the fact that you can lose your phone? What about the fact that you can lose access to your playlist, or that kind of stuff, for whatever reason? And this is where I think physical media still has a place in today's society. At least in my book, physical media still has a place, right? I still have hundreds of songs on our hard drives here, right? And I purchased those CDs. and I still have those files. And having this hard drive makes me feel as if I actually own something. I own something. You know what I mean? Um, when I take out a disc from my CD tray, from the drill box, and I place it in the tray, or I look at my stack of CDs over there, I feel like I own something. While I know I don't have the copyrights to the music, but I feel, because having the physical media makes me feel as if I own something. I have something tangible that I can touch, and this is what I think a lot of people still appreciate these days. The tangible aspect of having something that they can physically touch. And so, yeah, so I still appreciate that. I still appreciate the fact that I can have a lot of music files on a hard drive that I can connect to a network, and I can listen to them regardless of what you know regardless of the status of you know my internet. I don't have to have, what I'm saying, I don't have to have the highest speed internet to be able to listen to those music files. So yeah. So what's your take? Are you in the streaming arena these days? Or are you like me, who still does quite, a little bit of everything still? I stream, not a lot, because I don't even have an account, so to speak. Most of what I do when I stream, actually, I just stream for free. So my streams are full of ads, if you know what I mean, because, I'm not paying for it. So that's how the streaming company is going to make some revenue by trying to sell me something. So I do stream, but I also have my some physical media in the form of CDs, and a couple of vinyl records here and there. And like I said, I still have my cassette deck. If one day cassette should become popular, if I'm not dead by then, and I want to play a cassette. Yeah. So, so what about you? Are you still playing disc? Are you still, spinning something on your turntable, or are you just streaming? I love to hear from you guys. Tell me about it. All right, because the trend these days seem to be just streaming. Everybody seem to be on the streaming. In the streaming space nowadays, and what about you? I love to hear about it. All right, so that's it for today. Just a little thought to kind of get your feedback on where you are in your audio listening life, so to speak, in your audio listening journey. We as we get older. I'm over 60 right now. Our musical habits and taste have changed over the years, and many of us have to kind of adapt to what is happening in today's technologically driven society, and so streaming is just one of them. Yeah, so. One thing I'm aspiring to is to get one of those streaming amp, build, those amplifiers where, like from Eversolo, or from, you get what I'm driving at. One of those amplifiers where all you need to do is just to add speakers. That's all. Yeah, so our musical tastes have evolved over the years as we get older, and so we are just kind of adapting to the technology of today's world. So what about you? Tell me about it. Okay, I love to get some feedback from you because, this is all about conversation and building a community around the audio video space. And yeah, have you cut the cord when it comes to physical media? That's the question of the day. Let me hear about it, all right? If you love this video, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, all right? Because, I want to have you listening and watching more of these videos as soon as I drop them, okay? All right, so until the next time, you take care of yourself. And as always, be good, okay? Okay, bye-bye.